Today I'm going to be drawing. Um, it's gonna be a pretty important drawing because it started a bunch of techniques that I still use to make a bunch of monsters. I just gotta readjust the camera. Okay, that's fair. So, for this one, it's a bit tricky because it's very easy to mess up for this one. So I'm gonna draw dots to outline where each part of the head is gonna go. Yeah, that looks about right. How's that look? A bit shaky. That looks pretty good. And now I'll lightly shade out the where the eyes are going and how big they'll be. Looks about right. Okay. Okay, this is turning out pretty good. Next, I'll add the eyes. Looking to the side. And then I'll add in the light and then the pupil. Yeah, this is really coming together. Next, I'll just shade the pupil in. It's gonna take a while. I was told to talk about my experience with autism, but I don't really have much to share. Most of the problems I have are just that I have difficulty communicating and variations of that. Next, I'll do the irises, and I did the lines in full in that picture, but recently I found that if you start them and then stop them near the middle, and then you do the same at the edge, it gives off this nice effect. I'm drawing every individual line here. And then I'll start shading with the darker parts being at the iris and at the pupil, starting at the pupil, and then at the edge of the iris. And then it gets progressively lighter as it closes in. And I'll repeat the process on the other eye. That's that eye done. And then now I'll add in the mouth. And then I'll draw in the gums. Oh shoot, I just remembered, it gets blurry. Okay, that should be better. And then I'll add in the tongue. And then I just got shade in the mouth, and I think after that I'll be done with it. And that looks pretty good. And then I'll just shade in the rest of the mouth pitch black. I don't really know what to say, so I guess I could talk about this pretty cool dream I had. So essentially, uh, I was in the car and driving. No, I wasn't driving, but I was in the car, and then I was looking out my window, and I saw what looked like a rocket in the sky, and I was pointing at it, and uh, I was just trying to get a closer look at it, but then the clouds cleared out the way of the rocket, and it showed it was this cool little. I don't really know how to explain it, but essentially there was like a little clear box attached to the rocket, and I recognized it somehow. It was supposed to be like an escape thing so that we can go to space, I think. How's that? Yeah, looks good. Next thing, I'm gonna actually work on the eyes a bit more. Probably gonna make them a bit darker. So anyway, we were going to hop on board one of these spaceships, and for some reason we tried to park our car on like it's kind of like a raised hill area, and then the car slid down. So then we kept trying and trying, and then we put a railroad down, and then that helped it somehow. We never actually got on the rockets because the dream pivoted to this storyline about a house that's been trying to be built for a, like thousands of years. Usually, someone or something comes and destroys it. Uh, and if it does get finished building, then it's gonna unleash like some sort of ancient evil. So then we're trying to figure out how to stop people from trying to build it once and for all. And yeah, that looks pretty good. Now I think I'll start shading in the head. I can tell this one's probably gonna take a while. We also never finished trying to stop the house from being built because then it shifted again and we were inside of the house and we were trying to psychologically deconstruct this person in there. Um, I honestly don't really remember why or anything about that, but I woke up before anything else could really happen. Although, as I was in the part where I was trying to stop the house from being built, there was a portion where I just got stuck in the locker room. I don't really know how that connects to the story, but it took up a pretty large chunk of my dream. Sometimes I wonder if you were to go back in time and like show the ancient Romans uh, like we put on a play for them with a translated version of a modern story, I wonder what they would think. I personally think that, well, depending on the story, it can really change. But I think for the most part, they would find it pretty entertaining, especially since most of the plays around that time were just a person wearing a mask and telling a story. Yeah, I think this is going pretty good. And now I'll work on the rest of him. This is gonna be pretty difficult because I only drew him down to where his neck stops. And the original thing, I should probably just show you. It's right here. Right here is what I'm basing him off of. I think I'm going pretty good so far, but the end result will probably be a bit wonky. You should probably block out what I'm gonna draw. Then probably want like maybe a hump, and then for the bottom, that's about how I imagine them. So I guess I'll just start drawing. Yeah, that looks good to me. I gotta move some stuff around so I could show you better. Okay, my desk looks horrible right now, but uh, now you could see better. And yeah, I suppose I'm just gonna kind of follow the blueprint I laid out for myself. And then I really like this part of the process where I shade in one part, you go to work on the next part, and then it's just all blank and stuff. This part of the process doesn't usually show up because most artists do the full outline and start shading, but I just kind of work piece by piece. And then now I'll just draw in some droopy lines. You know, it's looking pretty good. Maybe a couple more. And that should be about it. I have a nice gradient of droopness. And yeah, that's about where it's gonna stop. And then I'll I'll just start sharing all this. I've been working on writing a story, uh, so I could give these guys kind of something about them. I actually think I finished the story pretty recently, and I think it turned out pretty good, but I didn't showcase as much of them as I would have liked. I think I might go back in and change some stuff. Uh, the main character of the book, well, actually, first they made this weird creature with a lung for a head. Uh, I might draw that next video. Uh, but the next creature he meets after that is this one, because he's the one of the hmm, well, he started a lot of stuff. I might even continue the book series. If I may, that's how I could get more of them in. I just write more books. Well, actually, this isn't really a book. It's uh, I wrote on Google Docs and it's 5 pages long. It's definitely longer than anything that I've written. Uh, if you count, well, it's the longest thing I've written that I've also finished. I did start writing some stuff that got way longer, but then I gave up on them. Uh, Usually because my writing style and vocabulary have changed, and then the way the writing shifts through a story is pretty unpleasant. Ooh, this video is gonna be pretty long. And I finally finished with the neck. Now I just gotta work on the body, which should be a simpler process. I think for the body, probably have to add in a bit of muscle to give myself more shading to be able to do, because otherwise the shading's just kind of run out and the body will be pretty light. And this creature, I would like to have a bit more of a middle gray. With these things that I draw, it's kind of weird because sometimes I imagine them with colors in mind, and another time I don't have any colors that I could really assign to them. Like for this one, I can only really imagine them in gray, but uh, there's this one that I made that has like a star toy implanted on it, and I can very vividly imagine the star toy being yellow and has some brown wood on it. I can imagine those colors, but for this one, I don't really know what color he'd be. Probably just some sort of neutral flesh tone. Well, now I think about it, there's not really much a such thing as a neutral flesh tone. I suppose just kind of like a reddish beige would make sense, maybe. Maybe it would just be gray. That is a possibility. And then, you know what? I completely forgot to add the little strands of hair. Ooh, this video is gonna be over 30 minutes. Luckily, this is essentially the end. Because the video is so long, though, it's gonna take a while to upload it. Dang it, my pencil ran out of lead. I'm gonna have to go get some more. And by some more, I meant some more pencil and not some more lead, because I don't know where the lead is, so I just got another pencil. This was the one that I'm using. They have different colors. And that should be good. And there it is. Don't really have much else to say, but I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.